Test 1, 2. And welcome to the Sound Alive Sports Network, where today we are broadcasting the consolation round, District 1 softball playoffs between the Glacier Peak Grizzlies and the Mount Lake Terrace Hawks. This is a loser-out game. Winner advances to the third, fourth place game, which automatically qualifies them for state. Losing team heads home and their season comes to an end. Gabby Calhoun for the Mount Lake Terrace Hawks is batting first. We're kind of getting caught up as we go along here, so we're going to be bringing you the starting lineups as we go. So bear with us a little bit. Calhoun reaches out for that one. Going up against Bella McMillan, the pitcher for Glacier Peak. Calhoun, a junior on this Hawk squad. Fouls that one off. Calhoun will be followed in the lineup by Kira Doan and Jazz Zink. And Ashley Fitzgerald would bat fourth if they can get to that point. Pitch is high and outside, ball. 2-2 count. Full count. And that is an inside pitch down low. Gabby Calhoun draws a walk. She gets on base, and that will bring up Kira Doan. Doan, who is playing second base today. Calhoun will be pitching, by the way. Doan battling from the left-hand side of the plate. Shows bunt, pulls back, takes the pitch for an outside ball. 1-0 is the count. These two teams met twice during the regular season. Glacier Peak winning both games, 5-4. That was an 8-inning game. And later on in the season, 13-5. Here comes the McMillan pitch. Bunt foul just a little bit to the left of the third base line. Here comes the next pitch from Bella. Laced into left field, just past the shortstop base hit. Everybody will move up one base. Calhoun goes over to second base. Doan goes over to first, and Jazz Zink will come up for the first time today. Zink, the birthday girl, turning 16 years old today. Sure, for her birthday, she would like nothing more than to keep her season going. Possibly playing another game tonight, and consequently get to Lacey to play in the state tournament next week. We'll see what she can do. Zink with 5 home runs on the year. Mount Lake Terrace would love for her to get a hold of one right now. Pitch is outside, ball. Zink waits in for the next pitch. Outside, another ball. I think it might be a 3-0 count. We didn't catch the first pitch up here, and the umpire is not really doing a great job of putting his hands up today, to be honest with you. That ball is a strike. First strike. Two balls, 2 strikes is the count. Senka waits the next pitch. Down low, ball 3, 3-2. Full count coming up. Rain is starting to come down all of a sudden. We knew it was projected to be here all day. And that is ball 4. Initially, the umpire not calling it. Finally sends Zenk down to first base. So 2 walks and a base hit. And very early on here, the Hawks with the bases full, trying to get that first run across the game here, across the plate. Hawks will now bring Ashley Fitzgerald to the plate, one of only 2 seniors on this team. Fitzgerald, who had a very good afternoon on Tuesday in that Marysville-Pilchuck loss, a game that the Hawks lost 18-11, but not for hitting. Ball is fouled off and out of play. Fitzgerald had a 3-run triple in that game. The first ball is fouled away. 0-1 count. Rain starting to come down more and more steady. Oh, and the umpire a very late strike call, so it's an 0-2 count now. I'm curious to see what
plumbing problems.
Really get these games
call Action Jackson Plumbing or Service. Owned by a lifetime Edmonds resident and Edmonds Midway. Action Jackson is the drain cleaning specialist. They can unclog internal drains plus tax. Call 425-877-5601 or visit actionjacksonplumbing.com.
Holding off all day long for the most part. The clouds were rolling in, and we saw the clouds were getting dark before the game started today. But really, the rain not starting until right about the time of the first pitch. And it continues to come down more and more steady. Two count to Ashley Fitzgerald. We apologize if we're having a little issue right here. And Fitzgerald rips that one right past the second baseman into right field. 1 run comes in to score. Gabby Calhoun comes in. Fitzgerald gets the RBI. Everybody else holding up. Base is still loaded. 1-0 Mount Lake Terrace here in the first inning. Fitzgerald doing a very nice job of just lining that ball right past the second baseman. Which we believe to be Kendall Curtis. Numbers don't match up with our rosters here, but we're looking right now. Coach of Glacier Peak is Caitlin Neese. Neese out to talk with her pitcher McMillan right now, as well as the rest of the lineup. And it's dark clouds above us, but there are patches of sun around us as well. It almost looks as though it could be one of those rainfalls that when the clouds move by and move past, we could in fact have clear skies again. And it looks as though they are going to take a break right now and put this game on pause, as we are going to have our rain delay. We, again, kind of suspected that this might be coming, and it in fact has. So we're going to take a quick break right now on the audio side of things. We'll keep the cameras rolling again. Mount Lake Terrace up early 1-0 in the first inning. They do have the bases loaded, nobody out, and the rains are starting to fall right now. We're hoping that it's going to be a short rainfall that just passes over us, but for the time being, we're going to take a quick audio break. You're watching the Sound Live Sports Network. And welcome back to the Sound Alive Sports Network. Steve Willits from Phil Johnson Playfields in Mukilteo, Washington. Been experiencing just a bit of a rain delay. Mentioned earlier, we knew rain would be coming in and out of the forecast today, and a very dark cloud settled right overhead right before this game started. We could tell that it was going to at some point rain. It was just a matter of how much and for how long. We don't have the answer to the how long yet. It's still coming down a little bit, but the how much, it was a little bit heavier than we initially were hoping it would be, and it was just hard enough to where the umpire decided he needed to put the game in a delay, put both games in delay mode, I should say, as there are two consolation games taking place right now. On one field right in front of us here, it's Mount Lake Terrace versus Glacier Peak, and then to our left, just adjacent to this field, we have a game between Marysville-Pilchuck and Edmonds Woodway. And we'll be watching that game and monitoring that game as well, as the two winners of these games will be playing each other hopefully at 6 o'clock if everything stays on schedule. And that game will be for the right to play for third and fourth place. We're told that all four teams that make it into the third and fourth place games as well as the championship games will advance to the state tournament this year. It's been top three in the past, but they've changed it this year to include a fourth, which means that if Mount Lake Terrace or Glacier Peak win this game, they will already be advancing on to Lacey. And we're back and underway again. So to get you caught up on what's happened so far, Gabby Calhoun led off the game with a walk. Kira Doan and Jazz Zank. Kira Doan had a single, Jazz Zank then walked as well. That ball's hit into center field. Right at the center fielder, that's Donnie. Makes the catch, tagging up on the play, and coming in to score is Kira Doan. So Doan comes in, gives the Hawks their second run of the game. Ruiz getting the job done with a sacrifice, gets an RBI as well. So again, to get you caught up, Gabby Calhoun walked, Kira Doan singled, Jazz Zank walked, that loaded the bases. Ashley Fitzgerald lined a shot into right field for a base hit, drove Calhoun in, made it 1-0. Then we had a rain delay. Sammy Ruiz then just stepped up, hit a ball to center field, which was caught. On the play, Kira Doan tagging up to score makes it a 2-0 game, and that's where we are right now. That ball's hit into left field, fairly deep. That's Julia Brocksmith. Left fielder Siemens making the catch. Fairly easy out there, and on the play, everybody's staying right where they are. So Zank still over on second base. Fitzgerald over on first base. 2 outs. That will bring up Amaya Kopp. Bella McMillan, a sophomore, on the mound. McMillan has already defeated Mount Lake Terrace twice this year. As we mentioned earlier, the only two times these two teams played, both games going to Glacier Peak. McMillan ready to go. Throwing to her battery mate, Coral Hurt. Ball's fouled off. It's a 1-2 count. Ball's hit into right field. Guestson fading over, making the catch. Gets the third out. We'll get you caught up on all of the players in the field for Glacier Peak when the second inning comes back around. But right now, the Mount Lake Terrace Hawks putting up 2 runs in the top half of the first inning. Glacier Peak about to take the plate for the first time today. You're watching the Sound Live Sports Network. And welcome back to the Sound Alive Sports Network. We are just about ready to go here in the bottom of the first inning. Gabby Calhoun, the junior, taking the mound today for the Hawks. Calhoun coming into the day with an ERA of 4.69. She's pitched 59 2/3 innings this year, given up 68 hits, 40 earned runs. Has a 38-70 walk to strikeout ratio, so she's able to mow down a lot of these batters with more than one strikeout per inning. Gabby coming off a bit of a shoulder injury last week. Weren't even sure she was going to be able to pitch yesterday, or 2 days ago rather, against Oak Harbor, and all she does is goes out and throws a shutout. Hawks get the 2-0 victory to move on and advance to this game. And Calhoun is back on the mound again today. Playing behind her, you've got Jazz Zank, another sophomore catching. Ashley Fitzgerald is over at first base. Kira Doan at second. Sammy Ruiz is at short. Amaya Kopp is at third base. Kennedy Cooper's in left field. Julia Brocksmith in center, and Lauren Miller is in right. And your leadoff hitter is the sophomore Bella McMillan. Bella, who is also the pitcher today for Glacier Peak. Bella had a 5-for-5 game against the Hawks earlier this year, so we know she can hit. Fouls that one off. So McMillan with a 1-1 count right now. Rain continuing to come down, albeit a little bit lighter than it was earlier. See a lot of these parents here have come prepared. The Glacier Peak side has a nice 10-by-20 canopy that they've put up that's covering up all their folks who are sitting down. Some of the Hawks folks who ventured over here to Mukilteo today, they are holding their own umbrellas. 1-2 count. Here comes the pitch to McMillan. Outside, ball 2, 2-2. Here comes the 2-2 pitch. Outside, ball 3, 3-2. Looking at the rest of the GP lineup, Harley Carpenter is due up next. She is a shortstop. Batting in the 3 spot is Abby Winkler. She's the third baseman. Batting fourth is the first baseman, Megan Parsley. Batting fifth and playing second base is Kendall Curtis. Batting sixth, your catcher, Coral Yurt. Batting seventh is the right fielder, Michaela Gestson. Batting eighth, the left fielder, Ashley Siemens. And batting ninth, the outfielder, center fielder, Abby Donnie. Millen fouling that 3-2 pitch off. Count remains full. And the rains continue to come down. Here comes the 3-2 pitch. High, ball 4. So McMillan walking on the play. It's going to bring up Harley Carpenter. One-0 pitch to Carpenter. Ooh, and that ball hit her inside on the hands. See if that got part of the bat too. And they're going to say no, it was a hit by pitch. That was the right call. So Carpenter's going to jog on down to first base. On the play, McMullen ends up on second base. So 2 runners on, nobody out here. And the number 3 hitter, Abby Winkler, is about to step to the plate. Winkler, a sophomore. It's a fairly young Glacier Peak team, only 2 seniors on the entire team. Coral Yurt, the catcher, is a senior, as is Abby Dunny, who is playing center field, the other senior today. 2 seniors on Mount Lake Terrace as well. So both of these teams have a very good chance of getting right back here next year. Or further, well, I guess we shouldn't say that about Mount Lake Terrace. They will be playing 2A next year. Glacier Peak moving up to 4A. Point being, both of these teams with a very young team that have opportunities for the future that could make them very strong and formidable against no matter who they're playing. Winkler takes the first pitch for a strike, 0-1 count. Calhoun, the righty, winds and pitches. Ball one, 1-1. Here comes the 1-1 pitch. Low and outside, ball 2, 2-1's the count. So again, the cleanup hitter, Megan Parsley, on deck. Way outside, ball 3, 3-1. Pitching in a softball game, especially one of this magnitude, hard enough as it is when you're pitching in the rain. It just makes it that much more difficult. Saw that as McMullen struggled a little bit in the first inning, and now in the top of the first inning, now Calhoun possibly having some similar issues. And that ball's going to catch the outside corner. Strike 2 called. 3-2 is the count. Here comes the full count pitch. In the dirt, gets away from Zink. Zink has to track it down. Everybody advancing, but they were forced to advance on the walk anyway, so really no harm there on the passed ball. Winkler ends up on first base. McMullen on the play. Travels down to third. Carpenter to second. Again, that will bring up the first baseman, Megan Parsley. Shannon Rasmussen, the Mount Lake Terrace Hawks coach, out to talk to the umpire right now. It wouldn't surprise me if she's maybe trying to talk to her about possibly holding this game up as the rain continues to come down. Meanwhile, Mount Lake Terrace out having a conference on the mound. Looking out below us right now, Meadowdale showing up for their championship game. The Mavericks will be taking on Everett at 6 o'clock, or at least they're scheduled to play at 6 o'clock, depending on what this weather does here. Again, both of those teams already advancing to the state tournament, will more or less be for both seeding and for the right to call yourself district champions. Meadowdale losing the championship game to Everett last year. Game that really wasn't even that close. I believe it was 15-1 or 16-1. Everett winning that game. Meadowdale did get their revenge during the regular season, beating Everett rather handily. Clean slate today, though. Everybody coming into it 0-0, so we'll see what happens. Umpire gets back behind the plate again. Players getting back out into the field. And again, Megan Parsley steps to the plate with a chance to do some damage. She's in the cleanup hitter role. That should tell you all you need. She's a sophomore. Glacier Peak always with tough, powerful lineups. This is a team that has scored double digits many times this year. And she's their cleanup hitter, so we'll see what she can do here. The first pitch is down low, ball 1, 1-0. Mount Lake Terrace 2 runs in the top of the first. Glacier Peak yet to score. Threatening right now, though. 3 on, nobody out. Calhoun's next pitch is also outside. Ball 2, 2-0. Here comes the 2-0 pitch. Inside, ball 3, 3-0. That pitch almost hit Parsley. If it had, that would have knocked the first run in. Catches the outside corner. Strike 1, 3-1. Kendall Curtis on deck. Looking over at the field next to us. Still a 0-0 game over there. Here comes the pitch. And just a little bit high. Ball 4. That's going to walk in a run. So give Parsley an RBI. She heads on down to first base. McMillan coming in to score on the play. Makes it a 2-1 game. Shannon Rasmussen once again out to talk to Calhoun as well as the rest of the infield. Rasmussen checking out the mound a little bit as it continues to get wetter and wetter here at Phil Johnson Fields in Mukilteo. Everybody back in their places. The umpire just about ready to put his mask back on. And we are ready to play again. Kendall Curtis stepping up to the plate. Pitch catches the outside corner, strike one. 0-1 count to Curtis. Calhoun wasting very little time. She's already back in the wind, ready to pitch. Curtis fouls that one off, strike two, 0-2. Coral Yurt, the catcher, on deck. Umpire, whose name we were not able to catch before the game started, doing his best to try to change out balls when he can to keep that softball as dry as possible. A riser there from Calhoun, just a little bit high. Ball one, 1-2 is the count. And that ball's way outside. Ball two. Coming in to score on the play is Harley Carpenter. Comes in on the wild pitch, makes it a 2-2 game. Everybody else advancing as well as Winkler heads on down to third. Parsley's going to end up on second. Very unfortunate play for the Hawks. 2-2 count. Hoping to try to get out of that jam a little bit, and instead they give up the run. Comes the 2-2 pitch. Just a bit low and outside. Ball three, 3-2. First base is open, so a walk here would not bring a run in. And that ball is just a little bit outside. Another walk. It's the fourth walk of the inning for Calhoun. Glacier Peak yet to give it a hit. They've walked four. One batter's been hit, and now it appears as though Calhoun and Doan are going to switch places. Calhoun just not able to get the ball over the plate the way she wanted to today. She's going to go back to her second base position. Doan's going to start to warm up. Okay, this is a pitching staff that's really been decimated with injuries as of late. Doan's been having a forearm issue. Calhoun with a shoulder. Sammy Ruiz, the other pitcher, dislocated her kneecap less than 2 weeks ago. Jazz Zink, the catcher, has been forced into action at times in the last week or two as a pitcher as well, albeit not the position she wants to play or is accustomed to playing. She'd rather be behind the plate. But again, with the other three hurt, she's had to play there from time to time. Hard to tell right now if Calhoun was having any injury issues there or if it was just a matter of having trouble with the grip on the softball, being that it's been raining out the way it is. And again, you keep looking out here and you can see some patchy areas and bright skies in certain places. It's not as though it is completely gray and dark out. It is the type of cloud that looks like it could almost pass over and at some point give you a dry stretch. So we'll see what happens as far as that's concerned. Looking to our left, Marysville Pilchuck and Edmonds Woodway still 0-0. Much like this game, that game will move one team into the third, fourth place game, and the loser will call it a season and wrap things up today. Kira Doan, the junior, who is committed to going and playing softball at Western Washington University. She's on the mound. She's warmed up, ready to go. We'll see if she fares any better here as she will take on Coral Yurt, the catcher. Yurt up for the first time today. 2-2 score. Here comes the pitch. That pitch is just a little bit high and outside. Ball one, 1-0. So again, Glacier Peak has sent 5 players to the plate so far. 4 of them have walked. One's been hit by a pitch. And there's a strike. Late call. The umpire here in this game, the home plate umpire, it's a very late call with that arm, so we're not always sure if he's called a ball or a strike for a couple seconds. There he calls a strike on that one as well. 1-2 count. See if Doan can get the first out of the game for the Hawks. Here comes the 1-2 pitch. Just a little bit outside and low. Ball 2, 2-2. Go ahead run over on third base. Here comes the pitch. Swinging and missing. Strike 3. Hurt goes down swinging. I'm not sure that would not have been a strike either way. It was going to be close. It might have been ball 3 that she swung at. Either way, she swings and misses. So there's our first out of the game for Mountlake Terrace. And that will bring up the right fielder, Michaela Gestson. Gestson is a freshman. One of 5 freshmen suiting up for this Glacier Peak team. Well, at least that's what's on the roster anyway. Swings and misses at that pitch. Strike 1. 1-1 count. So we're down at the number 7 hitter already in the lineup. The number 8 hitter would be Ashley Siemens. She's on deck. Here comes the 1-1 pitch. Strike called. 1-2 count. A little bit of a role reversal as Kira Doan pitched the first game of the doubleheader on Tuesday. I shouldn't say it was a true doubleheader. It was a tournament play, so different teams. But Doan pitched against Marysville Pilchuck. Swinging and missing. Strike 3. Off-speed pitch. Gets Gestson chasing. She goes down. That's 2 outs now. That's going to bring up Ashley Siemens. Doan pitching that game against Marysville Pilchuck gave up 18 runs in that game. Granted, Pilchuck is a much stronger opponent than Oak Harbor, but either way, Calhoun then came in and pitched a complete game shutout against Oak Harbor. Mountlake Terrace, feeling as though that was the way they wanted to go today, gave Calhoun the first opportunity. And when one pitcher's not able to get it done, the other one just comes in and vice versa. Both of these young ladies have been having nice seasons on the mound and will continue to do so, but today it looks like Doan might be the one that has the better stuff. 1-1 count. You gotta like the spirit of this team too, as Doan struck out Gestson on that last pitch. The first one that was over there to greet her and to give her a high five with a big smile was Gabby Calhoun. So really, teammates happy for one another when one's doing well. It's always good to see. These young ladies have played with each other for a while now. 1 pitch away from getting out of a jam here. Here comes the 1-2 pitch from Doan. That ball's high. Nice job by Zink to get her glove on it. Passed ball would mean Glacier Peak would have a chance to go ahead here with the bases loaded. Abby Winkler over on third base, just hoping for an opportunity to come in to score. Here comes the 2-2 pitch. Low, ball 3, 3-2. Something's got to give on this pitch. Abby Dunny, the center fielder, on deck. She would be the 9th player to come to the plate. Doan's going to try to prevent her from doing so. Here comes the 3-2 pitch with 2 strikes and 2 outs. Ball gets lined into right field. Unable to make the catch over there is Miller. It goes all the way to the fence. 2 runs are already in. Here comes a 3rd run. Ball coming in right now. Siemens is on third base. She's going to stay there with a stand-up 3-run triple. And Glacier Peak is ahead 5-2 now as we are still looking for the final out here in the bottom of the 1st inning. Ashley Siemens lined that one into right field. Looked as though Miller was not going to get to the ball in terms of make a catch, but tried to glove it instead of put her body in front of it. And when she missed that, the ball went all the way to the fence. Gave Glacier Peak an opportunity to drive in additional runs. We'll give Siemens a 3-run triple on the play. Winkler comes in to score. Parsley comes in from second base. Curtis comes in all the way from first. As we mentioned, the 9th batter of the inning, Abby Dunny, coming to the plate now. Just when it looked as though Mount Lake Terrace might get out of this inning with only the 2 runs. Siemens takes the 2-2 pitch and lines it right down the line there in right field to give them 3 additional runs. 1-1 count to Dunny. Swinging and missing, strike 2. Comes the 1-2 pitch. Just a little bit outside, ball 2, 2-2. Doan winding and pitching, strike 3. Dunny goes down. The Hawks do get 3 strikeouts in the inning. However, Glacier Peak scores 5 runs in the bottom of the first inning, putting the Hawks in a hole. This is elimination day. Glacier Peak 5 and Mount Lake Terrace 2. We've come to the end of 1 inning. You're watching the Sound Alive Sports Network. And welcome back to the Sound Alive Sports Network. We head to the top of the second inning. Umpire's putting Diamond Dry out there around the plate right now, trying to keep the batter's boxes somewhat dry. Told that's a combination of clay and kitty litter. Hey, whatever works. Mike Miller, the coach of Everett, up here watching this game too, as he's trying to stay dry for his game coming up at 6. Said, yeah, that stuff's not cheap either. You can't use too much of it. And that ball is popped up over to second base. Kendall Curtis coming over to make the play. Lauren Miller is retired for 1 out. Brings up Sarah Davis. Davis hits the first pitch offer to her, foul over towards the first base dugout. Parsley not able to make the catch on that play. Went over and gave it a look. Ends up being a strike, 0-1 count. Davis foul tipping that one off. 0-2. Davis, one of 3 freshmen on this Mount Lake Terrace Hawks team in the lineup today. The other 2 being Julia Brocksmith and Kennedy Cooper. Davis, who missed a good chunk of the season with a hand injury. Back today, 0-2 count. Here comes the wind and the pitch. Ball hops up to the plate. Ball 1, 1-2. Bella McMillan, here comes her 1-2 pitch. Inside, Davis tried to hold up. They're going to say she went around swinging. Ball gets away from Yurt, picks it up, throws it over to first, and Davis is down on strikes. Very close play there as Davis tried to hold up on the swing. I wasn't sure if she cracked the wrist or not. Apparently the umpire felt she did. 2 away takes us back to the top of the order where Gabby Calhoun will come up for the second time today. Calhoun, who led off this game with a walk and eventually came around to score the first run of the afternoon. Started the game, of course, as pitcher and then moved over to second base after 5 batters in the first. Calhoun takes the first pitch for a strike. Here comes the second delivery. That ball bounces up to the plate. Ball 1, 1-1. Players getting more dry softballs there as they continue to fight the elements, if you will. Caitlin Neese, the head coach for Glacier Peak. Shannon Rasmussen for Mount Lake Terrace. Calhoun taking that pitch for a ball. 2-1 count. Here comes the McMillan pitch. Ball looked a little outside from here, but the umpire felt differently. Calls it a strike, outside corner. 2-2 count with 2 outs here in the inning. Nobody on base yet. That ball's high, ball 3. Calhoun 1 pitch away from walking for the second time in as many at-bats. Kira Doan over on deck. Here comes the full count. And Doan fouls that one, or Calhoun rather, fouls that one away. (5-2) score. Glacier Peak ahead early, and that ball just a little bit outside. Ball 4. Doan's going to jog on down to first base, or Calhoun is going to jog on down to first base. Kira Doan stepping into the batter's box, getting those two mixed up as they've already traded places in the field once today. And Kira now stepping into the plate. The lefty check swinging that one right down the left field line. Almost hit that one fair. That was quite a little swing there. Powerful check swing as it just skipped right on by the third base and into left field. However, it just pulled a bit foul. A long foul at that. Everybody back and ready to go. McMillan with the ball on the mound. The wind and the pitch. Ball is over the head of Doan. Great job by the catcher. Yurt almost able to pick Calhoun off. Pitch was above Doan's head. Yurt still made the catch. It's got Calhoun sleeping a little bit over on first. Had to dive back in, just getting back in time. Faking the throw this time. Once again, Calhoun diving into the muddy ground there. 2-1 count. Doan fouls that one off. It's right above our heads here. Got a 2-2 count now. 2 outs here in the second inning. Here comes the pitch. High, Calhoun's going to try to steal, throws to second base, nobody there. Ball goes into center field. However, the center fielder, which is Dunny, wisely coming in right away to grab it, retrieves the ball, keeping Calhoun at second base. But give Gabby a stolen base on the play. She ends up on second. I believe that was ball 3. We got a full count now. First base now open, Jazz Zank on deck. And lining that ball foul down the right field line is Doan. Nice hit, she had the right idea, just pulled it just a little bit too far to the right. She'll jog back into the batter's box, retrieve her bat, and get ready to go for another full count pitch. As the softballs continue to get rotated in and out of this game. As now both dugouts trying to keep dry balls ready to go. The umpire continuing to rotate them in and out as best as possible. Becca McMillan with the pitch. Lined into center field, base hit. Calhoun's going to circle third. She's going to come in to score. 5-3 game. The Hawks getting a run back. Getting the deficit down to 2 and give Kira Doan an RBI single on the play. Hawks trying to do a little damage here with 2 outs. Jazz Zank coming to the plate. Zank, who came into the day batting with a .410 batting average, a .726 slugging percentage, 30 for 73 on the year. She has 30 RBI, including 5 home runs. Outside pitch ball, 1-1-0. As we mentioned, and we'll keep mentioning, we're gonna have a little fun with it. Jazz's 16th birthday today. You know darn well she doesn't want her season to end on her birthday. She hits that one high into right field. Gesson going over to make the play. Brings the ball into her glove, gets the put out, and ends the rally here in the top of the second inning. Hawks do, however, get 1 run back. They leave 1 stranded. We head to the bottom of the second inning of play. Glacier Peak 5, Mountain Lake Terrace 3. You're watching the Sound Alive Sports Network. And welcome back to the Sound Alive Sports Network. Steve Willits from Phil Johnson Playfields. We head to the bottom of the second inning. Glacier Peak getting 5 in the bottom of the first. It's held up so far. They have a 5-3 lead on Mount Lake Terrace. Kira Doan continuing to pitch. And for the second consecutive inning, Bella McMillan will lead off the inning for the Grizzlies. McMillan walking back in the first. She eventually came around to score. That was when she was facing Gabby Calhoun. This play is going to be fielded by Ruiz. Ruiz fires across the diamond in time. Nice play by Ruiz. Nice play by Ashley Fitzgerald over at first. Bella McMillan can fly. Cannot waste any time to get that ball over there when she's running. Almost beat it out, but give Sammy a lot of credit. She came up firing on that play. Hawks getting the first out in the inning, and that will bring up Harley Carpenter. Carpenter was hit by a pitch back in the first inning. She also came around to score. And the next pitch from Doan, strike over the outside corner, strike one. Sun's starting to peek through here a little bit. The rain slowing down. It looks as though it might have even stopped for the time being. That ball's trickled down to first base. Fitzgerald flips it to Calhoun just in time. Nice job by Gabby to cover the base. Harley Carpenter out by about 5 or 10 feet there. Smart play by Fitzgerald. Knows her teammate well enough. Knew Calhoun would be over there covering the base. Barely even had to look. Gets the easy out. 2 away. That will bring up Abby Winkler. She hits the ball right back to Doan. Doan fields it. Throws it to first. 1-2-3 inning for the Hawks. That's the top of the Glacier Peak lineup, too. That is just what the Hawks needed in that second inning. We head to the third. 5-3 Glacier Peak. You're watching the Sound Alive Sports Network. And welcome back to the Sound Alive Sports Network. We head to the top of the third inning. Hawks trailing the Grizzlies 5-3. And after what was a very rough bottom of the first inning for Mount Lake Terrace, just almost looked seamless and easy in that second inning as they were able to get Glacier Peak out 1-2-3. Ashley Fitzgerald lining right back to the first baseman. To the pitcher, Bella McMillan. McMillan picks it up, fires it over to first. Parsley with the putout, 1 away. That will bring up Sammy Ruiz. Ruiz flew out to center field back in the first inning. However, did get a sacrifice on the play, picked up an RBI. Ruiz leading the team with 8 home runs this season. She leads the team in a few different categories. At 39 RBI. Slugging percentage of 1,080. Batting average of 578. Only a sophomore. Sammy having herself a very good year so far. Is dealing with that dislocated kneecap that she injured a couple weeks ago. It hasn't affected her swing, though. We've noticed that she's been able to get good hold of a few of the softballs here at this tournament over the last 2 days. 3-0 count. Taking that one all the way, just catches the inside corner, strike one. Bella McMillan continuing to throw out there on the mound. Here comes the 3-1 pitch. Inside, ball 4. Ruiz will head on down to first base, which means the tying run will come to the plate. And that will be in the form of Julia Brocksmith, the freshman. Speaking of solid seasons, Brocksmith with 4 home runs of her own this year, coming into the day with a .469 batting average, .787 slugging percentage. She can certainly hit the ball a long ways if she gets a hold of one. 1-0 count to Brocksmith as that first pitch from McMillan was high and outside. Here comes the 1-0 pitch. Inside, ball 2, firing on down to first base is Sammy Ruiz. Ruiz with that kneecap injury, she's just going to stay put. That ball's going to have to go over the fence almost for her to try to advance any further than she has to. 2-0 count to Brocksmith. Amaya Kopp on deck. Looking at the field to our left, we'll give you an update on that game as well as Brocksmith takes that pitch for a strike. 2-1 is the count. Marysville Pilchuck in the third inning leading Edmonds Woodway 3-0. Getting the loser of that game out for the season. The winner advances to state. Brocksmith lines that one just inside the line, down the third base line, or first base line into right field. Ruiz is going to have to hold up on third. Brocksmith on second. Give Brocksmith a double on the play. Catches part of the chalk down that right field line just inside fair territory. Caitlin Neese, the coach, out to talk with her pitcher. Two runners in scoring position. Those runners representing the runner on second representing the tying run. Amaya Kopp coming to the plate. Kopp batting .258 on the year. We've seen Amaya get progressively better as the season has gone along. Tied for second on the team in doubles. She has 7 doubles, so certainly she's capable of tying this game up with a one swing of the bat. And the Grizzlies have decided to make a pitching change right now. They're going to bring in the freshman, Kendall Curtis. Curtis had been playing at second base. We'll have to wait and see what this does to McMillan. McMillan's staying out on the field, so she's either going to be taking Curtis's spot at second base or perhaps they'll shuffle some players around a little bit. We'll have to wait and see what the Grizzlies do here. Parsley definitely staying out at first. And in fact, that is the case. McMillan and Curtis, much the same way Doan and Calhoun switched places in the first inning for Malik Terrace when one went from second to pitcher and vice versa. That's exactly what they're doing here. So Curtis is going to be on the mound now. McMillan takes her spot over at second base. And Amaya Kopp coming to the plate, takes the first pitch for a ball. 1-0 count. Here comes the second pitch. Gets her just a little bit inside. Strike called. Curtis not wasting a lot of time. Gets right back in there. Just a little bit outside. Ball 2. 2-1 is the count. Again, first base is open right now. Lauren Miller on deck. Swinging and missing, strike 2. 2-2. Kopp in the 7 spot today. Again, Lauren Miller 8, Sarah Davis 9. Davis is the designated hitter today. She's not playing in the field. Kennedy Cooper is. Cooper, who's not batting, the other freshman, also playing out in left field this afternoon. 2-2 count. Here comes the pitch. Swinging and missing, strike 3. Got Kopp to chase a ball inside. Only the second strikeout of the day against the Hawks. So Lauren Miller coming to the plate. Off-speed pitch. Strike called, 0-1. Here comes the 0-1. Miller fouls that one off, 0-2. Ball gets bounced back to the mound. Curtis waiting for it. Here comes the 0-2 pitch. In the dirt, nice eye by Miller not to swing in it, 1-2 count. Time called on the play. Again, Miller, one of the 2 seniors on this Hawk squad this year. The freshman winds. Here comes the Curtis pitch. Called third strike. Like Terrace strands 2 runners that inning. They do not get any across the plate. We head to the bottom of the 3rd inning. Glacier Peak 5, Mount Lake Terrace 3. You're watching the Sound Alive Sports Network. And welcome back to the Sound Live Sports Network. 1 pitch, 1 away in the bottom of the 3rd inning. As Megan Parsley grounds out over to third base. Maya Kopp picking that one up, throwing it over to first in time. Mount Lake Terrace, after putting the first 5 batters of the game on base, have since settled down rather nicely. Kira Doan pitching a great game so far. Doan has faced 8 batters thus far. She struck out 3. She's gotten 4 others to ground out. The only blemish is that triple that Ashley Siemens hit that drove in 3 runs, none of which were Doan's responsibility. She didn't put any of them on base, so Doan really pitching herself a nice game so far. See if she can continue to do that. Kendall Curtis, now the pitcher, at the plate. Riser is high, ball 2. Coral Yurt is on deck. Outside, ball 3. Three-one count. Here comes the pitch from Doan. Outside corner, strike 2, full count. Just realized I'm now sitting next to a celebrity. A celebrity is in my presence. Skylar Schenk, one of the members of our HBN crew here, and that ball's hit into right field. Miller comes over, makes the catch. Gets the put out on the full count. 2 up, 2 down. That's going to bring up Coral Yurt. Skylar doing an interview just now. Sky with an interview with Jesse Jones from Cairo. Cairo out here doing a little story on what's going on with, not that we'll get too far into this right now, but what's going on with the WIAA and HBN and SLSN's attempts to want to broadcast state playoff games. So Sky was interviewed. I believe Angela Como also interviewed at some point. I'm getting a nodding of the head from Sky. So Jesse and the Cairo crew out here checking out the first part of the game. Maybe Cairo's what brings sunshine to the field. It seems to have the clouds seem to have parted to make sure that we could get this interview in and get the game in. Right about the time they get here, Gabby Calhoun and making the snag. Another 1-2-3 inning for the Hawks. They're doing a nice job to stay in it right now. We head to the fourth inning of play. Mount Lake Terrace 3, Glacier Peak 5. You're watching the Sound Alive Sports Network. And here we go into the fourth inning of play. Sarah Davis, the freshman from Mount Lake Terrace, batting in that number 9 spot. She comes up to the plate. Davis striking out back in the second inning. Looking to get something going here right now. Hawks will then go back up to the top of the lineup where Gabby Calhoun will be on deck. Davis hits a nice little shot over to shortstop right through the legs of Carpenter. A little bit of a wicked hop there. We'll give her a base hit on the play. It's exactly what the Hawks needed to get the inning started, especially when you know that you've got a great lineup at the top of the order there. To get Davis on base is a nice bonus. Let's see if they can do anything with that now. As Gabby Calhoun, who has walked twice already today, she's also scored twice today. Once in the first, once in the second. We're going to get a courtesy runner as Kennedy Cooper in and will run for Sarah Davis. So one freshman replacing another. Gabby Calhoun, who started this game as the pitcher, now playing over at second base. Awaits the Curtis pitch. Outside corner, strike one called. Oh, 1 count. Kira Doan on deck. Ball 1. So Mount Lake Terrace, 2 runs in the first, 1 in the second. They were held scoreless in the third. Sun's starting to come out here a little bit. Calhoun fouling that one off onto the field over to our right. Fortunately, nobody over there right now, or there shouldn't be unless there's a team warming up perhaps, as Everett and Meadowdale will be playing in the championship game, which is scheduled to start in about 45 minutes. So 1-2 count for Calhoun. Inside, ball 2, 2-2. Marysville Pilchuck continues to lead Edmonds Woodway. It's now 5-0 in the fourth inning. The winner of these two games that are going on right now will play each other next. Calhoun gets the hold of that one, hits it into right field. Onto the running track. She's going to end up at second base with a stand-up double. Cooper running down to third on the play. Hawks putting 2 in scoring position here in the fourth inning. Nobody out yet. That will bring up Kira Doan. And wow, Marysville Pilchuck to our left just hit a ball to deep center field. Ball that cleared the fence 10 or 15 feet. That ball was blasted. That might have been Kylie Lopez. that Lopez? That is Kylie Lopez that hit that home run, the catcher for them. And meanwhile, Mount Lake Terrace scores a run. Kira Doan gets a single. That's what you get for watching 2 games at once. Doan with the RBI makes it a 5-4 game. Kylie Lopez, who is playing softball at St. Martin's College next year in Lacey, just put that ball about as far as you can put it over the fence in a softball game. We got a quick timeout here in our game as Doan went over to talk to third base coach / head coach Shannon Rasmussen. Jazz Zink up to the plate. Birthday girl showing bunt on the plate. Doan's going to head on down to second base. Give her a steal. Zank with a 1-0 count. Chops that one just foul down the third base line. 1-1. 16th birthdays are always memorable. Jazz could really make this one to remember. How about a big hit right now? Perhaps it doesn't even have to go over the fence, but something that would drive in a run or two, either to tie this game up or to take the lead. I think that's something she could talk about for a while and about for years to come. Here comes the 1-1 pitch. Off speed, just catches the outside corner. Strike 2. 1-2 count. Ashley Fitzgerald on deck. No outs here in the 4th. Swinging and missing. Zink goes down swinging. One out, one already in, 2 on base. Fitzgerald lines that one into the gap. 2 runs are going to come in to score. The Hawks are going to take the lead. Fitzgerald motoring around to second base. She'll stand up with a double. And Mount Lake Terrace now, with 3 runs here in the inning, have retaken the lead. Calhoun and Doan both coming in to score easily. Sammy Ruiz will step to the plate. Hawks, who were down 5-2 after the first inning, fought their way back to get back in the lead. And now Sammy Ruiz, with her 8 home runs already this year, looking to do some more damage here, looking to give more of a cushion, takes the first pitch from Curtis high, ball 1. Curtis looking in. Here comes the pitch. Outside, ball 2. Julia Brocksmith on deck. Brocksmith on her last at bat. Off speed pitch. Just missed. Ball 3, 3-0. First base is wide open. See if Ruiz gets something to hit. She's taken all the way on that one. Strike called. 3-1 count. Comes the Curtis pitch. Inside, ball 4. Ruiz is going to take her place down on first base. 2 on, only 1 out here. Already 3 runs in. And the freshman, Brocksmith, stepping up to the plate. Marysville Pilchuck with a 7-0 lead on Edmonds Woodaway. Looks as though the Warrior season might be coming to an end here shortly. And strike called on Brocksmith. A little bit of a high pitch, but the umpire felt it was just low enough to call it. 0-1 count. Here comes the Curtis wind. Fouled off, strike 2. Oh, 2 count, 1 out here in the 4th. That ball is lined over to McMillan. No! Coming over from first base, Parsley putting a glove up. It looked like it was going to go right to McMillan. Parsley said, no, you know what? I've got this one. Snags it out of the air. 2 away. Runners will have to stay put, and that brings up Amaya Kopp. Kopp, who flew out to right field back in the first inning, struck out in the third, comes up for the third time today. Takes the first pitch right down the middle for a strike. Here comes the 0-1 pitch. Swinging and missing, strike two. Lauren Beck. 0-2 count. Here comes the pitch. Outside corner, strike three called. That will retire the side here in the fourth, but the Hawks get 3 runs back. They take the lead 6-5. We head to the bottom of the fourth inning. You're watching the Sound Live Sports Network. And welcome back to the Sound Alive Sports Network. We head to the bottom of the fourth inning. Michaela Guestson, the right fielder, stepping up to the plate for the Grizzlies. We're trying desperately to get the lead back after relinquishing it to the Hawks in the top half of the inning. Guestson with a 1-1 count. Kira Doan, who's been pitching a masterful game since coming in for Gabby Calhoun in the first inning. An inning in which Glacier Peak scored all 5 of their runs. 2-1 count. Strike call, 2-2. Glacier Peak has 5 runs on the board right now. They only have 1 hit in the entire game. Back in the first inning, they walked 4 times. They were hit by a pitch. Strike 3. Kira Doan has faced 11 batters so far today. She's retired 10 of them. She has 4 strikeouts, 5 ground outs, 1 fly out. The only blemish, the triple, which drove in 3 runs, and really might be being generous by calling it a triple. It was a play that was lined into right field and got past Lauren Miller. Might have even been officially an error, but we'll call it a triple. But at any rate, 1 hit the entire game. Doan, who's been pitching a great game so far, again, was injured last week for a while. That ball's hit over to second base, off the foot of Calhoun. Sharp hit. She definitely had a chance. I'm going to call that one an error on the play, as that was Siemens, who we were just talking about, who had the triple earlier. Breaks up a string of 8 of batters retired. Siemens was the last player to get on base for Glacier Peak. And now we're at the bottom of the lineup. Abby Dunny will come up for the second time today. Dunny struck out back in the first inning, actually ending that inning, that 5-run inning. Pops it up into the air, foul. Amaya Kopp coming over to have a look at it, couldn't get to it in time. Ball lands foul. Bella McMillan, the sophomore, I was going to say sophomore pitcher, but she's now the sophomore second baseman as she switched places with Kendall Curtis a little while ago. She's on deck. Ball gets away from Jazz Zank. Siemens is going to head second on the play. 1-1 count. 1 out here in the bottom of the fourth inning. Steve Willits from Phil Johnson Playfields, along with Sky Shank, Angelo Camo, Gregory Oakes. I think, did we cover the entire squad today? Is that it? That's the squad, the big trio right there, the power trio. And these two next to me, both Sky and Angelo, now famous celebrities on the news. Well, look, not yet, as Angelo points out. It hasn't run yet, but again, Jones from Cairo doing an interview with the crew here just a little while ago, an interview that should run, I would imagine, hopefully in the next day or so. We think with Jesse, you never know. He can use those features anytime. Strike three. That ball was just fouled off as Abby Dunny got her bat on it just barely. 2 count, 1 out, runner on second base. That runner represents the tying run here in the bottom of the fourth. And Sky pointing out that the sun shining down right on the field right now is the shining light of hope for Mount Lake Terrace. Swinging and missing, 3. Kira Doan getting it done out there on the mound. Doing a great job, gets another strikeout. That's 5 strikeouts on the day. And the always tough Bella McMillan coming up to the plate. Pointed out earlier, McMillan, who is the leadoff hitter. In the last game that these two teams played against each other, a game that was played back on May 6th, so just 13 days ago, McMillan batted 5 for 5 in that game. She was also the winning pitcher. Harley Carpenter's on deck. Carpenter had 4 RBI in that game. That was a 13-5 decision going in the favor of Glacier Peak. Ball's just a little bit high. Glacier Peak and Mount Lake Terrace finishing 1 game apart in the standings during the regular season with slight advantage to Glacier Peak. We mentioned one of the 2 games going into extra innings. That game was played back in April. 2 evenly matched teams, and we're seeing it here today so far. Bella McMillan with a 2-0 count. Hits that one deep into right field, going back. It is gone. Bella McMillan hit the fence, giving GP the 7-6 lead. McMillan sitting on a 2-0 count. She knew she was going to get something to hit, and she belted that ball into right field. Over the fence, takes 1 bounce off of the sidewalk. The buses that's out there parked on the street. And 2 runs come in to score. Glacier Peak taking the 7-6 lead here in the bottom half of the 4th inning. So Harley Carpenter coming up to the plate. Carpenter, who was hit by a pitch in the first, grounded out to first base in the 2nd inning. She now comes up for the 2nd time today, and the first pitch is a ball. Can't say it enough, though. Kira Doan, although giving up that 2-run home run, just having an outstanding day on the mound so far. That riser's just a little bit high. Ball 2-0. Guess it's Siemens. We gave her a triple earlier, but that ball was close, and even that ball just a little bit further would have gone into the glove of Miller. That was really the first solid hit that Glacier Peak has had off of Doan today. 2-1 count to Carpenter. Mauriceville Pilchuck continuing to lead Edmonds Woodway 7-0 to our left. 3-1 count as that pitch was just a bit high. 2 outs here in the inning, nobody on base. Glacier Peak already putting 2 runs across. Ball's fouled off, full count. Abby Winkler on deck. Here comes the full count pitch. Here comes the wind from Doan. Ball hit high up into the air in foul territory. Fitzgerald going over to have a and she makes the catch. That is an out. So Glacier Peak finally retired. They do, however, get 2 runs back on a blast off the bat of Bella McMillan. The 2-run homer giving Glacier Peak the 7-6 lead. We head to the 5th. You're watching the Sound Live Sports Network. And welcome back to the Sound Live Sports Network. We head to the 5th inning of play. Lauren Miller will lead off the 5th inning for Mount Lake Terrace. Fouls off a pitch. 1-2 count. Sarah Davis on deck, and then we head to the top of the lineup after that, where Gabby Calhoun will bat 3rd this inning. 7-6 game, Glacier Peak in the lead. Miller hits that one over to second base. McMillan bobbles it briefly, and beating out the throw is Lauren Miller. She's safe on first. Should have more than likely been a easy play at second base. I think Bella McMillan would love to have that one over. Just a small, slow trickler out to second base. Just hopped right off of her glove. By the time she tried to retrieve it, it was too late as Miller beats out the throw. Miller's on first. Sarah Davis coming to the plate. And then the Hawks go right back to the top of the lineup, where they've already done some damage a few times today. Gabby Calhoun and Kira Doan have combined for 5 of the 6 Hawks runs. And Davis lines one into center field past a diving McMillan. She's going to end up on first base. The 8 and 9 hitters for the Hawks coming up big here in the 5th inning, both getting on, and that takes us to the top of the order. Gabby Calhoun, who has scored 3 times already today. She's going to step to the plate right now with a chance to do some more damage. Calhoun followed by Doan and then Zank. 7-inning game. We're in the 5th already. The Hawks trailing 7-6. Calhoun fouling that one off the top. Bounces back down where Yurt's able to grab it. By the way, Edmonds Woodway to our left starting to make a little bit of a comeback. They put up 4 runs in the top of the 5th inning against Marysville Pilchuck. They now trail 7-4. One count to Calhoun. Kendall Curtis, the freshman, continuing to pitch. Calhoun hits that one into center field, going back on it, making the catch. Nice job by Dunny. A little bit of a snow cone catch almost. I thought for a moment there it might have a over the top of her glove. However, she snags it out of the air. So Calhoun for the first time today is out. That will bring up Kira Doan. 2 on, 1 out here in the 5th inning. Doan, who is 3 for 3 with 3 singles today. She scored twice rather. Doan's going to hit that one into left field. Coming in and making the nice grab. That's Siemens. So the Hawks getting what they really wanted. The 2 leadoff hitters, the 8 and 9 spots, both getting on base early here. And then the 2 places in the lineup that have been the most solid so far today, Calhoun and Doan both flying out. Now Zink's going to have a chance. Zink hits that one hard to left field. It's going to go all the way to the fence. 1 run's coming in to score. And that is a very, very long single as Davis held up on second. Ball was hit very sharply. Matter of fact, hit so fast that it almost probably worked to Glacier Peak's advantage as Siemens was able to retrieve it rather quickly. Does tie the game up at 7, though, so Miller comes in to score on the play. Zink ties it up. So with 2 outs, Ashley Fitzgerald to the plate. Fitzgerald with an RBI single back in the 1st, grounded out to the pitcher in the 3rd, and then had a 2-run double in the 4th. Going to do some more damage here. Hits that one over towards shortstop. Carpenter steps back a few feet, makes the grab, and gets the put out. However, the Hawks do get the tying run here in the 5th inning. They leave 2 stranded. We head to the bottom of the 5th. Glacier Peak 7, Mount Lake Terrace 7. You're watching the Sound Alive Sports Network. And welcome back to the Sound Live Sports Network. We are heading to the bottom of the 5th inning. Mount Lake Terrace getting the tying run there as Jazz Zink picking up the RBI with 2 outs. Kira Doan continuing to pitch for the Hawks. And Abby Winkler, the sophomore, up at the plate right now with a 1-1 count. Strike called 1-2. Mentioned these two teams having some good battles this year and over the years as well. I would imagine this might be the last time they see each other for a while. Again, they are going in different directions next year. Both are 3A teams as of right now. Swinging and missing, strike three. Winkler gets the strikeout, or does strike out, I should say. Doan picks up the K. It's going to bring up Megan Parsley. So Glacier Peak becoming a 4A school next year. Mount Lake Terrace will drop down to 2A. However, they will continue to play in the 3A conference. One out here in the fifth. It's going to bring up the cleanup hitter, Megan Parsley. First pitch is down low and in the dirt. Ball 1-0. Hoping to get a chance to broadcast another game here after this, as the third, fourth place game will be taking place between the winner of this game as well as the Edmonds Woodway Marysville Chuck game. I think our initial plan is to broadcast that game if one of the two Edmonds School District schools can manage to get into that game. Right now, Edmonds Woodway trailing by 3 in the 6th inning. And of course, Mount Lake Terrace and Glacier Peak tied in this game in the bottom of the 5th. One count to Megan Parsley. Kendall Curtis on deck. Here comes the 2-1 pitch from Doan. Just a bit high, ball 3-1. Sammy coming over from the shortstop spot, giving her pitcher a little encouragement. They exchange fives. Doan the righty, she's ready to go. Outside corner, strike 2. Parsley thought she might have had ball 4 there. She dropped the bat to head towards first base. Umpire said, no, you got to get back here. You're not done yet. Full count. And with one out, nobody on, here comes the 3-2 pitch. Fouled off. Still a full count. District playoff alive and well here. Spring sports in May, always a fun time. All these teams vying for state berths. Another ball fouled off. Both of these two schools having their soccer teams advance to the state week. Mount Lake Terrace seeing their team make it for the first time in 22 years. Fortunately, the boys losing the other night to Mercer Island 3-0. A great season for them. Strike called! Parsley looking at strike 3. She goes down. 7 strikeouts on the game for Doan. She strikes out the 3 and 4 hitters in this lineup, a powerful lineup. It's going to bring up the freshman Kendall Curtis. Congratulations to the Glacier Peak boys. They defeated Capital the other night, and their soccer team advances to the quarterfinals. Other sports going on this week as well. Track and field over at Quilceda Stadium in Marysville tomorrow. The finals there is those athletes trying to qualify for state next week in Tacoma. Ball's just a little bit low. Ball 2-0 to Curtis. Tennis going on right now for the girls. Golf for both boys and girls. Baseball also going on. A few of our teams, one of which being Glacier Peak, playing in the state tournament on Saturday this week. Glacier Peak boys will be heading up to Skagit College on Saturday. They defeated Linwood in the district championship game earlier this week. A very interesting game. If Glacier Peak had lost that game, they would have still gone to state on Saturday. However, they would have had to travel down to Kelso. 2-1 pitch. Ball's hit back to Doan. I'll finish that story when we come back, but Doan's going to toss the easy ball over to Fitzgerald. She heads the put out. And it's a 1-2-3 inning for the Hawks. We head to the 6th inning. Only 2 more innings to go in regulation, and it's all tied up 7-7. One of these teams is going to state. The other one's going home. Stay tuned. You're watching the Sound Live Sports Network. And welcome back to the Sound Live Sports Network. We head to the 6th inning of play, 7-7 tie. Sammy Ruiz up at the plate. Hoping to get the Hawks going here in the inning. Started to tell a story about Glacier Peak there a moment ago. Glacier Peak's boys were scheduled to play Linwood last Saturday in the championship game of districts. Both teams at that point had already qualified for state, so it was just a matter of seeing where they were going to be seeded and to put up the district championship. Game got rained out on Saturday and moved to Monday. And in that game, they knew the winning team was going to be playing up in Skagit this coming Saturday. They knew the losing team was going to have to go to Kelso. Glacier Peak's prom is Friday night. And if the Glacier Peak boys had lost that game to Linwood, they were going to have to go down to Kelso on Friday night. And Ruiz takes a pitch over the plate, 3-1 count. So if Glacier Peak had lost to Linwood, the boys essentially would have missed prom. Would have been a real inconvenience for both boys and girls. That ball is way outside. Ball 4, so Ruiz with the go-ahead run heads over to first. So a little extra incentive for Glacier Peak to try to win that game. And in that game, Linwood scored 4 in the first inning. Looked as though they might cruise to an easy victory. However, their bats were shut down after that. Glacier Peak got back. It was 4-4 for quite a while as Brocksmith fouls that one off. And then finally in extra innings, Glacier Peak able to get the 5-4 victory and saved prom for the Grizzlies baseball team. So their boys are heading up to Skagit. They play there on Saturday at 1 o'clock. Easy trip for them, not too far, so they can go there without having to stay at hotel. Brocksmith hits that one into center field. Dunny coming over to make the catch. Ruiz having to hustle back there as she got a little bit of a lead. Having to dive back in, so she's safe. Brocksmith is out. That'll bring up Amaya Kopp. So I believe the boys, if I remember right, it's Lakeside on Saturday. And again, a lot of track and field athletes from both schools busy this week, hoping to get to Mount Tahoma High School where the state finals will be next week. A Kopp at the plate right now, 1-0 count. Chops that one over to third. Ball's thrown over to first. Out on the play. That's Winkler throwing to Parsley. 2 down. That's going to bring up Lauren Miller. Miller batting in the number 8 spot. Got on base on an error in the 5th inning of play. Sarah Davis on deck. Sammy Ruiz over on second base right now. And Miller's going to line that one over to right field. Right to Gueston. Makes the catch. 4 batters up, 3 batters down. They leave stranded. We head to the bottom of the 6th inning of play. 7-7 tie. You're watching the Sound Alive Sports Network. And here we go into the bottom of the 6th inning. Kira Doan continuing to fire from the mound. She's going to face the catcher, Coral Yurt. Yurt striking out back in the 1st inning, grounded out to second base in the 3rd inning. Up for the 3rd time today. 1-0 count. Over her head, ball 2, 2-0. Yurt batting 6th in the lineup. She's 0 for 2 today. Michaela Guest's son is on deck. She's 0 for 2 also with 2 strikeouts. Your number 8 hitter in the line, Ashley Siemens, she's actually had a nice day so far with a triple as well as an error to get on base in the 4th inning. And then Abby Dunny would bat 4th, and she struck out twice today. So really, this is the part of the lineup where Doan needs to get these outs. Presumably both of the teams will have their top of their orders batting in the 7th. Ruiz fires it over to first base, and Fitzgerald cannot hold on to it. Let's see how crucial of an error that ends up being, as Fitzgerald had that ball pop right out of her glove. Yurt is safe on the play. Throw didn't look too bad. I'm not sure if Fitzgerald just closed her glove earlier or what the deal was, but she was not able to come away with it. So Michaela Guestson is up to bat here, the second batter of the inning. She's a freshman. Showing bunt. Fires it to Doan. Doan's going to fire to first. Down low. And just getting back at. That was almost a scary play as Doan fired that one awfully low over to Calhoun. Calhoun able to dig it out, getting Guestson out at first. So on the play, Yurt ends up at second base. She represents the go-ahead run. Ashley is yet to be out today, and she's now at the plate. I mentioned we gave her a 3-run triple back in the 1st inning. Abby Donnie will be on deck. 7th inning of the game between Edmonds Woodway and Marysville Pilchuck. Pilchuck now up 8-4. So they're on the verge of ending the season for the Warriors. They're 1 out away now as there's 2 out and nobody on base. And then right behind us in about 5 minutes, well, maybe closer to 10 minutes, Meadowdale and Everett will throw the first pitch for their championship game, the district championship game rematch, a game that Everett won last year. Ashley Siemens stepping into the plate. Siemens is a junior. Pitches inside, ball 1. And you can hear screaming in the background. Marysville Pilchuck has just defeated Edmonds Woodway 8-4, which means that Pilchuck has advanced to the 3rd place game, but more they've advanced to the state tournament in Lacey next week. Siemens pops that ball foul and out of play. 1-1 count. Seven game here in the 6th. Kira Doan with the wind and the pitch. Siemens fouling off yet another pitch. This one also hits the backstop. Strike 2. So Mount Lake Terrace 2 runs in the 1st, 1 in the 2nd, 3 in the 4th, 1 in the 5th. Glacier Peak with 5 of their runs in the bottom of the 1st, scored the other 2 in the bottom of the 4th, and that is where we stand right now. Both of these teams fighting to keep their season alive. Both trying to get down to Lacey. That ball's hit right back to Doan. Doan with the fire over to Fitzgerald. Gets the out on the play. This is not what the Hawks wanted. On the play, an error. As Hurt ran over to third base, the throw was low. It got past Kopp at third base. Yurt's going to come in to score. It's going to give Glacier Peak the 8-7 lead. And with 2 outs in the inning, an error, and a costly one at that, gives Glacier Peak the lead. So Doan floating that ball in to Fitzgerald. Fitzgerald making the put out at first. Give Yurt a lot of credit. She took off her third, forcing Mount Lake Terrace to make a quick play, and Fitzgerald just fired it in the dirt, and ball ends up going up against the fence. Yurt ends up going from second home on the play. So Abby Donnie, the center fielder, up with 2 outs. She's going to pop one up into the air. Zink takes off her helmet, realizes that the ball's out of play. Strike 1, and we go right back to the next pitch. So Dunny, the number 9 hitter in the lineup. We'd go back to the top of the order if she can get on. Mount Lake Terrace will be at the very bottom of their order to start the 7th inning. The number 9 hitter, Sarah Davis, will lead off the 7th, followed by Gabby Calhoun and Kira Doan. Hawks will need at least 1 run in that 7th inning now to keep this game alive, depending on what happens here with this final batter, or with this final out, I should say. Strike 2, Dunny looking at a 1-2 count. Abby Dunny back in the batter's box. Waiting for the Doan pitch. Here it comes. Outside, ball 2, 2-2. Nobody on base right now. You got the always dangerous Bella McMillan on deck. McMillan, who blasted a 2-run home run in her last at bat. You just as soon not see her come to the plate here in the 6th inning. Let's see if they can get Dunny out. She swings, hits that ball over to third. Kopp fields it, throws to first. Fitzgerald makes the put out. That ends the inning. However, Glacier Peak gets the go-ahead run. Hawks might be down to their final 3 outs of the season. We head to the 7th inning. Glacier Peak 8, Mount Lake Terrace 7. Sarah Davis, Gabby Calhoun, and Kira Doan are your batters coming up from the Hawks. You're watching the Sound Alive Sports Network. And welcome back to the Sound Live Sports Network. We head to the top of the 7th inning, and we certainly hope that we're not saying that for the last time this year. Sarah Davis looking to get things going here for the Hawks. And she hits that one over to second base, where Curtis is now playing second again. So Bella McMillan and Kendall Curtis have switched spots. Very interesting. So Bella McMillan, who started this game as pitcher, had a with the wetness of the rain that was coming down in the first inning, so they moved her over to second base. Everything is dry now. She's back and pitching again. And she gets the first batter, Davis, to ground out. So we go back to the top of the lineup. Gabby Calhoun hitting for the Hawks. The Hawks needing at least 1 run here in this inning to keep things going. Gabby Calhoun up at the plate. Hits that ball right back to McMillan. McMillan, easy throw over to first to Parsley. 2 away. And the Hawks season comes down to this one batter now. Kira Doan looking to keep things alive here. Jazz Zink, the birthday girl, over on deck. I'm sure she would love to have one more chance to do something big before her season comes to an end and do that on her birthday. We'll see if she gets that chance. Bella McMillan winds and pitches. Strike called outside corner. You can hear the Glacier Peak fans starting to sense that their girls are 1 out away from qualifying for that 3rd place game, but more importantly, qualifying for Lacey. Strike 2 called. We're down to the final strike here. Oh, count. Kira Doan at the plate. Bella McMillan, the sophomore. Doan fouling that one off. And the winner of this game taking on Marysville Pilchuck in 15 minutes. Doan, the junior, back in the batter's box. Hits that one to shallow center field. Ball drops just outside of the reach of the shortstop. That was Carpenter. Can't come up with it. Kira Doan keeping things going just by a matter of inches there. And that will bring up the 16-year-old, the birthday girl, Jazz Zink. Jazz has walked already once today. That was in the 1st inning. She's flown out to right field. She struck out, and she's also singled. Doan over on first base. Zank awaits the pitch. In the dirt. Nice job by Yurt, the catcher, to keep it in front of her. Holds Doan over on first base. 1-0 count. Ashley Fitzgerald, the senior, on deck. Jazz rips that one over to third. Ball gets away from the first baseman. Everybody's safe. Winkler had that ball, threw it over to first, just a little bit low to Parsley. Had beat. However, Parsley couldn't bring the ball in. Hawks season stays alive. Give an E5 on that play, so everybody's safe. Ashley Fitzgerald, she had a 3-run triple in the first inning against Pilchuck yesterday. Ball is popped up into the air and fouled just over the fence. Fitzgerald with 9 doubles, which leads the Hawks this season. Also has 1 triple. She had 27 RBI in the year. I'd love to have another right now. Actually, she has 30 for the year now, giving her credit for the 3 she had earlier today already, so she's already batted in 3 runs. Strike called outside corner. We're down to an 0-2 count. 1 strike left here. Doan on second, Zank on first. Here comes the pitch. Ball is hit back to the pitcher's mound. McMillan's going to throw it over to first. They make the putout, and the game is over. The Glacier Peak Grizzlies advance to the 3rd place game. The Mountlake Terrace Hawks season comes to an end in heartbreaking fashion as the Hawks losing this game 8-7. Mountlake Terrace, a strong season, and give these ladies a lot of credit. A young team, by the way. This is a Mountlake Terrace team that is going to be back, and they're going to contend for a few years to come. A lot of sophomores, juniors, and some freshmen on this team, and I'm told there are a handful of 8th graders who are more than likely going to make the varsity team next year. And again, this team goes down to 2A technically next season. There are a lot of teams at state and 2A that do not want to see this Hawks team coming for the next couple years. But again, great season. (15-8) overall record for the Hawks this year. Again, a team that played in one of the toughest divisions in 3A in the state, constantly going up against the likes of Meadowdale, Glacier Peak, Edmonds Woodway. Linwood at times could be tough. A lot of competition, great competition this year, and the Hawks, who really had to battle over the last couple weeks, a lot of injuries to overcome. I know a lot of those pitchers have been very banged up lately. We mentioned earlier Kira Doan with the forearm injury. You had Gabby Calhoun, who was nursing a shoulder. Jazz Zank had a rib injury. Sammy Ruiz with a kneecap that was dislocated, and yet this Mountlake Terrace team came in here, fought hard all week, battled Marysville Pilchuck, a game that was much closer than the final score indicated. It was 18-11 at the end. Then got into a great pitcher's duel with Oak Harbor, a game they pulled out 2-0. And this is a game that they could have easily packed it up when they were down 5-2 and could have gotten themselves in a lot of trouble early. They battled all the way back to take the lead, only to see Pete go ahead on an error in the bottom of the 6th inning. Nothing to be ashamed of at all for the Hawks this year. Again, 15-8 record. Very few seniors on this team as we look at the roster really quick. Got Lauren Miller's a senior, Ashley Fitzgerald's a senior, and then after that it is a very young team, and not very many juniors for that matter either. As Gabby Calhoun and Kira Doan are the only juniors on the team that played this week. And then you look at the sophomore, Sammy Ruiz, who had 8 home runs this year. Jazz Zank had 5 home runs this year. Both players who are just, if they continue to improve the way they are, they're not going to be playing for 2 more years. They're going to be playing for 6 or 7 more years into college. Looking forward to seeing what they can do in the future. And then you look at Julia Brocksmith, who had a huge year. Sarah Davis, who played injured for a portion of the year and got better as the year went on. And then Kennedy Cooper, who's come in and she's been starting in left field and courtesy running at times. This is a team that, again, even if they stayed at 3A next year, we're going to be tough. You give them a chance to play 2A in the playoffs, and they're going places. So, again, a great season for the Hawks. We wish all of the young ladies well and look forward to watching them for a few years to come. Again, the final score tonight, Glacier Peak 8, Mount Lake Terrace 7. It's been a fun season, everybody. Thank you for watching. Again, my name is Steve Willits. Involved with our broadcast today, which included Angelo Camo, Gregory Oakes, and Skylar Schenk. You are watching the Sound Alive Sports Network. Have a good evening.